Okay. Hi, everyone. My name, I'm going to do a quick introduction, and we have some people that are going to kind of trickle in. My name is Shannon Shue, and I'm a real estate agent here in the Los Angeles area. I have been an agent for 6 years. I just got into Gary Keller's top 100, which means yay! It's like kind of a big honor, I guess.
It's a big deal, Shannon. It's a very big deal.
Yeah. And I currently invest in real estate myself. I'm in a 1031 exchange. Purchasing right now, I'm looking at purchasing a self-storage building out by South Lake Tahoe, and then also looking at some multi-units, including one of them that I'm presenting with you today. So you can feel.
You might just buy it before you guys do. So
yeah, no, I might just buy it before you guys do.
Like, I'm so pumped about it. I might buy it myself. I'm like, Shannon.
I know. I told Samantha that I was like, I picked something I'm going to buy myself. Okay, so Sam, introduce yourself, please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Samantha Shue. I am with Movement Mortgage. I'm in the top 5% of loan officers across the country. And I just love what I do because it's every day is a puzzle and I get to figure it out. Please excuse my dog who may bark every now and then. He's a puppy and we're just trying to teach him how to, go to sleep during work time. But anyways, I own my single family house with my 2 girls who are 7 and 10 and my husband. Love spending time with my kids, and coaching soccer for them this year has been an absolute blast. And yeah, so that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. All right. So we like to go around the room and have you each introduce yourself. Just say your name, what you do for a living or what you love, and what you would like to learn today. So we'll start with Marietta.
Hi guys, it's Marita. Shannon invited me to the class. I am here. I'm actually from Hays, Kansas, and been a real estate agent for 20 years. And I've never used the Keller mortgage, so I need some help with that as well. But just investing in general, I'm here to learn. So thank you for the invite.
Fantastic. Esther.
Hi, can you see me?
Yeah.
Okay. So my name is Esther, and I'm an attorney. I primarily do business, civil litigation, but we do focus on real estate. I also have my broker's license, which I've never used. And I'm really interested in learning how to invest in real estate. We own a condo, but we want to ideally purchase like a small multifamily, and we just want to kind of see how to get started with that.
Yay. Shirley.
Hello, I'm Shirley Robinson. I'm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, going into my 4th year in real estate, and obviously a great place for investing. I've had the last 2 transactions working with Investor, and I absolutely loved it. And one property I was putting on the market, and my husband and I, we saw it and we was like, wow, we would purchase this property. So just want to get guidance. I met Shannon during the fall mastermind session.
Yay. Thanks, Shirley. Hey, Neil. He's one of my past clients.
Yeah, it's saying my connection's unstable, but I'm Neil Swada. I'm retired, and I just come on here every week trying to keep my ear on the mark on what the real estate market's doing.
Fantastic, Neil. It's a pleasure to see you. Hey, Desiree.
Hi, Shannon. Hi, everyone. My name's Desiree. I'm in LA, Los Angeles, California. And I just know Shannon has so much experience with multi-family units and ADUs and everything. So just wanted to learn some more about that and how to get started on investing.
Fantastic. Thanks, Desiree. Monica, it's good to see you. Introduce yourself.
Hi guys, I'm having a little technical difficulty on this end. Good to see you guys again. I'll be up on video shortly, I hope. I'm working on my computer here. I'm Monica Martinez. I'm with Keller Williams in Temecula, California, and I was a previous an investor before I was a realtor, so I'm just trying to look at ways to get back into it. So any information that I learned here is awesome. Thank you guys.
Thanks for coming back. Well, nice to see you again.
All right, you too.
Yeah, and Tina and I went to high school together. Uh-oh, Tina, you probably gone away maybe. I think you said you'd be on listen mode today. All righty, we'll say hello to you later, Tina. All right, Sam, take it away. You're on mute.
Let me unmute. Okay, so what is happening in real estate? I know Neil has seen this slide probably a million times, but now you'll be able to really commit it to memory because you're going to see it again. So what are the challenges right now in real estate? Inventory is so low, right? There's so many buyers out there. They've made a lot of buyers have made a lot of money during the last year and a half working from home. And so now their purchasing power is really being pushed up. So there's so many buyers out there who want to buy, who have the money, see the low interest rates, but there's just no inventory. And so it's been really hard. And you have a lot of buyers right now who are saying, well, I'm just going to wait for prices to come down, right? We'll see how that goes. And interest rates are still really low. We're seeing some seller contributions maybe in some markets. And now that everybody is working from home and they have more, maybe a little bit more downtime and they're not spending so much time in the car, they're able to think like, maybe I don't want to live in this tiny little apartment forever and I do want some space. And so they're looking and I think a lot of millennials are really pushing toward buying multi-units because they don't have as high standards. You know, they're just like, I'll live wherever. And if I could have 3 other people help me pay my mortgage, great, right? So a lot of interest right now in multi-units. What else is on my slides here? Whoops, I went through this one so fast, but I have to move over here. Oh my goodness, my little thing is not so good.
It's very sensitive. It does
okay, yes. So some new loan programs that are available. There's some amazing low down payment programs. We actually just got I haven't even updated the slide just yet on this one, but we just got a 3.5% down loan up to a loan size of 1.5 million. And that's for units. So Shannon, that was the one I was just telling you about for our clients who are looking to buy 2 units. They could put a minimum of 3.5% down up to a loan size of 1.5, which is higher than the standard conforming loan limit for 2 units. And it also goes to 1.5 million loan size if they're putting 5% down, 1.75 loan size. So that's a huge, huge increase in jumbo loan programs available. So right when COVID began, all the jumbo lenders sort of fizzled out. They were really worried about the market and now they're really starting to come back. A lot of bank statement programs are available again. So for those of you who are realtors, that would probably be helpful to you. Shannon, do you want to go through for some of the buyers on the call, why do people buy homes?
Sure. So what I like about this slide is it's very straightforward why I invest in real estate. It is my retirement plan. I actually think I will retire on real estate and not necessarily my IRA or my stock portfolio, which is not huge, but it exists. It's the passive income. I don't care about having a ton of passive income right now because I'm still working in the work world, but when I retire, I want those units to cash flow really comfortably and well. And there's appreciation, especially in Los Angeles. What you buy now in just 5 to 7 years can easily be 20 to 40% more than what you bought it at. And then there's the tax benefit, of course, writing off a lot of the depreciation and a lot of the repairs and maintenance. And then you have a stable housing payment. It's a fixed income. It's a fixed payment for 30 years. And even if you decide to do an ARM, you can refinance before that. And again, just making sure you can afford what you purchase now, because if you do have any sort of employment changes, that's what created a lot of the challenges in 2007, 2008. That in the inflation of homes prices. Sam, you want to do this one or do you want me to do this one?
You know, for those people on the call who are first-time home buyers, there's lots of different options of what you can buy. And as a residential lender, I cover buyers who are purchasing a house, which is called a single family residence. a condo, and multi-units up to 4. So if you start going over 4 units, that's considered a commercial property, and you'd have to go with a different lender. But anyways, Shannon and I today are going to be focused on multi-units, and I just love what Shannon has to say all the time, and I can't wait to hear what she's going to tell us about these 2 properties.
Yeah, so what I like to do, you guys, so I picked 2 properties. I picked a duplex here in Los Angeles, and then I picked a triplex in Big Bear. I'm personally interested in this Big Bear triplex. I have to identify my 1031 by Monday. And so I think I may likely identify this one and then look to close it. It just came off the market, and it's going to go back on shortly thereafter, but I still could scoop the data from the MLS, even though it came off the market. The Elsa Reno property, this one got me very excited because I think it's a really good entry-level property duplex here in Los Angeles. It's listed at $699 or $700,000. It's going to go into multiples. I think it will sell for about $775,000, maybe $800,000. And because both units are going to be delivered vacant, it was like, oh my gosh, this is just for Los Angeles, because I know some of you don't live in Los Angeles. This is actually a great opportunity to start in multi-units. If you are an investor, this 1100 Garrity is great because you can now rent at the maximum rent values once you acquire it, and you will put your own tenants in. So you get to choose your tenants. As new landlords or as people that are getting started in real estate, I think it's always wise to get used to figuring out how to choose tenants. Some of my clients, as soon as they buy something, they immediately want to hand it over to a property manager. And I'm like, okay, well, that's fine, but you won't get to learn the nuances of being a landlord if you don't get to touch into the tenants and touch into the experience of being a landlord. Personally, I was still handling every clogged toilet and every potential rat that was in the wall up until January 1st of this year. So as trying to run your regular day job and then doing your night job too at the same time.
How many years was that, Shannon?
I've overseen my own portfolio, and I got it up to 9 units by myself in terms of managing all that. 11 years of being my own property manager.
Yeah, I want you to be my landlord. That's incredible that Shannon's able to do that, given her business. Holy smokes. So I'm glad you gave that up.
I had to, but I am now, yes, I'm very grateful that I have now get to give that to a property manager to do. And so, because then it frees up that time for me to do other. I don't want to take every call. I don't want to meet every tenant anymore. I don't want to, oh, you lost your key. I'm sorry, you lost your key. Someone else will help you, not me. So those are some reasons why this Elsa Reno duplex got me very excited. There are some downsides. It is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. It's 1,200 square feet, which means each unit is 600 square feet. If you want to have 600 square feet is very tiny. These bedrooms are very tiny. The living area is very tiny. But again, if you are an investor, you're not going to live in it. I think you'll be fine. If you are going to live in it and it be your first investment property, this is also a great starter. You are not going to stay here for long. You stay here for 4 years, maybe 3 if you get a little itchy after such a small area, and you have already appreciated that. And then if you've saved well, you can buy your next property and not sell your old one. That's how I started. My velocity is I bought one, kept it, rented it, bought the next, kept it, rented it, Airbnb'd it, at any which way I could make extra money, house hacked it, and I'll talk about house hacking in a minute, and then kept buying. I've only sold my first property as of this year, and that's the 1031 exchange. So now I have a very large amount, a relatively large amount of money to then buy other real estate. So a little bit more about this one. It does have a hill view. Elsa Reno is right next to South Pasadena. So South Pasadena is on a hill, and then the bottom side of the hill is Elsa Reno, if you're not familiar with this part of East Los Angeles. It does have a slight view, which is kind of nice. It is secluded and it's in a little residential area. It has a 2-car garage, which is great. You want it to have some parking, because parking is tight in East LA. Parking is tight in all of Los Angeles, but particularly East LA, because it's hilly. And when it's hilly, sometimes you have parking on only one side of the street. So this does have tandem parking and then the garage, which means you can have the garage as storage. If you were to live there, you'd probably keep the garage to yourself and you would give your tenants just the parking. If you were not to live there, then maybe you would figure out a garage share where both people can use the garage, and that helps increase your rents. It is, it's lightly renovated inside. It's tenant renovated, in my opinion. These aren't like high-end cabinetry and high-end granite countertops, but that's okay. We're just looking for nice and simple, not too beaten up, easy to kind of turnkey, meaning you just like buy it and just turn it around and rent it. Potential rents for each is $2,200 each. That includes the parking. If you didn't have parking, you'd get less. I know it's very small. You're thinking like, it's so small, but there is a garden and a nice yard in the back. I don't have a photo of that. And then I always recommend house hacking. So let's say you are buying your first investment, you're going to live in one of the units and you're going to rent out the other one. In your unit, you have a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. We can rent the other bedroom for $900, all included, all utilities included, all in internet included. You're going to rent to someone probably a friend, maybe just vet them hard because you're going to share a kitchen with them. Now that's how I started, right? And if I were to buy this today, though, I wouldn't live in it, right? But it's just a slow climb. It's a slow climb. This will go into multiple offers, and I have no doubt in my mind that it will fetch a really pretty penny. I think there's a lot of upsides to this, despite it having small units and bedrooms. Okay, so the Big Bear property. Sam, can you go to the next slide? All right, so this Big Bear property is the one that I'm interested in purchasing. It's $699, all same price, may or may not go into multiples. It's already kind of at its like close, it's a little overpriced actually in my opinion, but Big Bear is so popular right now, it will fetch that price or close to it. So maybe a little bit more. It's a triplex, so it's a 4-bed, 3-bath. The unit makeup is 2-1 house, and that one is the vacant one, right? That will be vacant at the end of the month. Then a 1-1 unit and a 1-1 unit, and then a 2-car garage. It's a nice large lot. It's 10,000 square foot lot. It is in a neighborhood of Big Bear, very close to the ski slopes, very close to town, not too far off of the main drag in Big Bear Boulevard. So here are some potential ways to look at investing in this. So I live in Los Angeles. I do not plan to move there. I cannot qualify for an owner-occupied loan at all. Yes, Samantha is like, no. But I know that already because I want to live here in Los Angeles where my business is. So you want to say something, Sam?
No, that's fine. You're not allowed any more owner-occupied property, Shannon. Are these all separate buildings?
Yeah, so there's 3 separate buildings and the garage is detached also.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's ideal. So a lot of people got excited when they saw this, as I talked to the broker, and they're like, oh yeah, everyone wants to just Airbnb all 3 of them. You cannot, because now City of Big Bear needs to have some of its local residents housed in multi-units. So they have a limitation of 1 Airbnb unit per parcel. So it took out a lot of buyers because buyers were like, oh, I'm going to cash cow this because I'll Airbnb all 3. So for me, I don't need to Airbnb all 3, but I'm going to offer you the option of how it would work with one of the units. So in this scenario, we are going to, so the rents being collected on the 1-1s is $950 and $950. So that's $1,900 already, plus the 1 vacant unit, which is a 2-1. That will get about $2,000 on the market. So I would propose, instead of renting that on the market, you could Airbnb the 1 vacant unit that would be vacant upon close. That 1 vacant.
Shannon, I know Tina has a question too.
Yeah, I'll get to you in a second, Tina. I want to get through the explanation really quick. The 2-1 unit that's being rented, that would be vacant, if you were to rent it, and I did the math here for you, if you were to rent it on Airbnb for $175 a night, every day of the month is 30 days, you'd get $52.50. If anyone has Airbnb'd here, you know that you will never get 30 out of 30 days. It's nearly impossible. It's just mathematically, how can every Tuesday and Wednesday night and be taken? It's not possible. So what I did is I assumed a 67% occupancy annually, which is about 2/3 of the year. There is a huge summer season in Big Bear, and then the winter's just bonanza out there, since many people want to get away from LA, go ski, play in the snow, just get away from the city. So that would be about $42,000 annually divided by 12 months. So your monthly would now be $3,518 instead of $2,100. Again, you are gonna make more, but you also pay more. You have more turnaround. I have to hire a short-term property manager there. They will take about 25% of my total income, which is about almost $11,000. It'll be like $10,600 per year. So now I'm almost back down to what it would be if I were to full-time rent it, because they're turning it over between each guest. So that is a possibility to kind of create some velocity. And I always like to create velocity on purchases so you can get extra income. However, there comes a point in which maybe the velocity is not as necessary and you just want to stabilize the portfolio, which is where I'm at. And I may Airbnb it for a short period of time, and then I'll be like, okay, I'm going to switch it to just a full-time rental. I probably would Airbnb it at the beginning if I were to buy this, because I might want to enjoy it at the beginning. And then I may come to a point where like, okay, it's just better to just get it rented and not have to, 2 to 3 weeks out of the year, split up throughout the whole year. I'm up there. So again, options, right? I don't prioritize my need to be in that Big Bear property at all as an investor. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. And that's kind of the general gist of this Big Bear. And then we're gonna do a side-by-side comparison. Tina, did you have a question?
I do, thank you. The Big Bear property, it has 3 homes on one lot. Is that correct?
Yeah.
On one parcel?
Yeah.
Okay, and how big are each of the house homes?
Hard to say. I mean, the
Oh, I mean the room,
16
not the square footage, excuse me.
it's
But the-
1,600 total. It's 1,600 square feet total for the 3 houses combined. My guess is it's probably like 400, and then the remaining is about 700 square feet. That seems kind of par for the course.
I see. What is the bedroom and
4 bedroom, 3 bath. Do you see right here? It's on this 3rd line.
oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Are they open to?
So Tina, why don't I go to the next slide, and then we have a Q&A at the end. Do you mind if we go there and kind of address some of the specifics?
I'm not sure if I will be available. I just want to know if I can bring a sober living to that area.
Sober living is something, so I'm looking at some sober living potential properties here in Long Beach.
Wonderful.
And as long as you have the proper documentation, and depending on what sort of programs you are going to tap into, whether it's government run or not, then you need to have the proper licensing. That is something you would probably need to take up. You would need to take that up with both the state and the city.
Okay, so it would be this. So how does that work with the triplex and Big Bear?
So in general, sober living is not about the size of the property, but it's about the ordinances allowed. So that would be, you would take that up with the city.
Right. So, okay, I understand. So we would have to.
You have to figure out what the city and the
sober
county,
living.
Yeah, allow, because you're going per bed. So you're charging per bed. So yeah, it's a little bit more work, and not necessarily, it's not necessarily that you apply it to this triplex, it's that you figure out how to manage that income based on what you're looking at, versus tell me how to make the sober living work in this triplex, Tina. I was like, wait a minute, reverse out. What kind of property are you looking for that makes sober living worthwhile? That's the better question, I think.
That's fine. I thank you so much for that, and thank you for that advice. I took a note of this.
Yeah, that's a per bed, and they regulate how many beds you can have per bedroom. per common
course.
area. And yeah. So, okay, you guys. Yeah. Next, Sam.
Yes. Okay. So all of that is super exciting. And now it comes down to the numbers, right? So these are all assuming, I know Shannon kind of flip-flopped. Are you going to live in one? Are you going to own, or are you going to be an investor? As an investment property, you are required to put a larger down payment, and the payment's going to be higher than what I've listed there. The low down payment, like 3.5% down on that duplex, is for owner occupied. And it's actually a government program called FHA, and on a duplex, it's super easy to get approved for that. And so your payment's around $4,500 a month. Shannon, I can't remember what the rent was, about $4,000?
4,200 total.
If you rented the whole thing, right? You're going to live in one of them. So basically, yeah.
2,200 maybe for the single.
Plus maybe 900 for renting out your bedroom, right?
Correct.
Right. So you're basically, if you put very low down, the minimum down, your tenants are covering almost your entire mortgage, and you get to reap all the benefits. So if there's one thing you're going to learn today, if you are a buyer, or even a realtor, right? On a multi-unit property, even on multi-units, you don't have to put 20% down. There's so many options in between. So as you can see there, 3.5% down, then you're looking about a down payment of $27,000 total out of pocket with closing costs. Because remember, closing costs include your taxes, your insurance, your escrow and lender fees. So altogether out of pocket about $50,000 for this $775,000 duplex, which is a very little investment for a pretty big property, right? And then it goes down. Obviously, your payments will reduce as you put more money down if you had that available to you. Also, with most of these programs, the entire down payment and the closing costs can come from a gift. So if you have a family friend who is willing to help you out or give you some portion of any of the down payment, that is totally fine. But look, Shannon, like you said, so it's 2,200 plus 900, so 3,100. So if you put 20% down,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, your payment would be like $600 a month for rent in LA near South Pasadena. That's you would never find that anywhere for a one bedroom.
Or even at 3.5% down, your rent is $1,500, although you have a roommate and you're in a little bedroom.
Yeah, but I mean, $1,500 a month, and you own it.
Yeah,
you own it, and then you get to write off your mortgage interest. You get to write off your taxes. So a lot of people right now who I know are working at Riot Games, are working at big W-2 jobs, Netflix and whatnot, and they need a write-off. And this is a great way to get into something, live in it for a couple of years, 2-3 years, and then lease it out. The triplex in Big Bear. So this triplex would be considered a jumbo because I'm sure, as many of you guys know on the phone, every county has a different loan limit. And on that new program I was just mentioning to you, you could do 3.5% down even on a triplex on a jumbo loan. See, your payment there is $4,500, and the 2 units. So if you lived in one of the smaller units and you rented out the other, Shannon, is it about $3,000 or $2,500 a month you'd be getting?
With the 2 units that are rented, it's $1,900 currently in rent. They're playing. Okay,
so about $2,000. So you're paying a little bit more per month if you live there, but you could also leave for the weekend and rent an Airbnb or 1 unit or however you want to do it. Full-time lease too, and Airbnb yours when you're not there. But I know a lot of people moving to Big Bear because they can. Big Bear, Palm Springs, Palm Desert, Joshua Tree, all the areas that have been blowing up in price. So Shannon, what do you think this place would have gone for prior to COVID? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, so prior to COVID, this is a $700,000 triplex, and it's a little overpriced, but they're going to fetch that price. I absolutely know they're going to get it. But 2 years ago, this would have been like $580, $590. So it's ridiculous. Their appreciation in that market is almost double some of the averages here in Los Angeles, and the averages.
And I think it's going to stay. Don't you think it's going to stabilize anyway? I don't think it's going to swing back because now so many people have been drawn into these areas, and there's now doctors coming and more hospitals, and it's going to make all these cities grow, and I think it's going to keep their values.
I'm a little less optimistic, but not totally pessimistic either. Um,
Well, we'll see. Yeah, maybe they'll come down, but you're buying for the long term, right? So you're not buying so that you could sell it tomorrow. You're buying it so you can hold on to it.
correct. So here's just a quick side-by-side comparison that I did with the Elsa Reno and the Big Bear duplex triplex. Garrity is priced at $699, but I know it's not going to sell for that. It's going to sell for more. The financials on it would get about $4,400 a month in rent at $2,200 per unit, or 21 to 22. I just took the higher number. And with Sam's numbers, it makes a lot of sense, even with 3.5% down, to just get into.
Yeah, your payment's roughly 4,000 ish. You know.
Yeah. And then the Highland property, the Big Bear property, is $4,000 a month if you just full-time rent all of the units, or $5,418, not including much higher property management fees. And that would, get you a little bit more money. But what's great is that there is going to be one unit delivered vacant, which is great for owner occupy, owner second house use, Airbnb mix, or just full-time rent it, just because you can at 25% down, which is required for an investment property. At 25% down, it absolutely will cash flow. Right, Sam?
Yeah. Investment properties are pricey right now, and they'll continue to be it, and they do require that larger down. But most of the time, at least in LA, you're not buying these to cash flow. You're buying them for the long-term appreciation. So eventually they will cash flow, even if, but they do make you put that large amount down. So it helps that cash flow start earlier.
Yeah. Cash flow always works out with more down.
Yes. So for those of you who haven't been pre-approved yet, the first step is to submit your loan approval application, get all of your documents in, and then we'll help you get a pre-approval letter. It's usually good around 2 months, sometimes 3 months. COVID guidelines have changed it a little bit down to 2 months. And then you get to go out shopping and start looking for properties. One last thing I wanted to share with you guys is, a lot of people are like, okay, well, the payment's about $4,000 on these properties. How much do I need to make in income to afford or to be pre-approved for this? Oh, sorry. I always have a darn typo that I never remember. Anyways, so let's say the payment's $4,000 a month. That means you need to take 4,000 times 2. Okay, not 36. That was from an old slide. That's $8,000 a month. So about $100,000 a year if you don't even include any rental income. Once you start including rental income, so let's just say really conservatively, you're making maybe $24,000 or $25,000 a year in rental income. So now you only have to make like $75,000 a year to afford this place, and so on and so forth. So if it's a 3-unit and you're going to live in one, we always assume you're going to live in the one that has the least rent. And you can use the ones that generate the higher income to help you qualify. Makes it nice to be able to qualify using that rental income, because then it helps you push your purchasing power a little bit higher. So we are at the end here. And Shannon, I'll let you go around the room and ask everybody what they've learned.
Yeah, awesome. So this is an opportunity. We just like to go around and you just want to introduce yourself again. If you came late, you can introduce yourself and then just say one thing you learned. We like, just keep it kind of short, because after this we have Q&A, and I think that there are going to be a lot of questions. They can be related to the 2 properties we shared with you, or they can be related to some other things like sober living, like how to create velocity on increasing rents and things like that. So feel free to go in any direction. Let's start with, I'm just going down the list. Monica.
Okay. So for me, I think just hearing the information about Big Bear and having that 25%, the higher cost related to having an Airbnb, and which obviously kind of makes sense because you're up in the hill. That was probably the biggest thing, and the fact that you can only get you can only do one Airbnb on those units. So I do have clients that are going up that way. I just had a best friend buy up in Big Bear. So people are doing it as second or third houses for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Marietta?
I'm in Kansas, so I have no clue what you guys are looking at. When I look at all this, it's like, wow. Okay. So for me, being in real estate, I've never used the opportunity of, buying and doing that, you know, as an investment. So it's kind of opened up my eyes thinking of making, you know, revenue for myself. Just
Yes.
just in general. So I appreciate that very much.
Oh, for sure. In Kansas, I mean, you could probably buy a dozen at a time.
I wish I could say in Hayes, I wish Hayes is very high. We're actually one of the biggest ones in our state. Our price is very high over Overland Park, Kansas. So it's really sad that we can say that. But having a university here in town, that is, I need to be tapping into that for sure. And I haven't been.
Yeah.
I always think that people won't live like I want them to live. So I got to get past that. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a 4-unit by USC and everyone's like, oh, you must rent to students. I'm like, I don't have to. Long-term renters stay more than 9 months. So,
right. And
yeah.
we were actually looking at more of the Branson area, Table Rock for an Airbnb. So that's kind of got my wheels turning. So
fantastic.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Shirley.
Nothing new, just a reminder to think, buy it multifamily and live in one. You're comfortable where we are. So just that thought to build wealth.
Yeah. Short term. You don't have to live there forever.
Correct. Right.
Hey, Neil.
Yeah, I learned about the sober living areas. I didn't know that cities were actually putting restrictions on Airbnb either, so I learned that too. That's it.
Yeah. Restrictions are mostly because there isn't enough housing for locals. Anywhere it's same thing in Los Angeles. They're restricting it here because there isn't enough housing to rent for locals. So
yeah, but aren't they starting to open up as far as they're doing away with like only one building can be on a property? They're allowing you to build basically an ADU on everything in LA.
You can build an ADU, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. So the housing may be going up. It's just going to be more impacted.
Yeah. One of the city planners that is my brother's good friend, she works for the city of LA for the mayor's office. And she said, if 10% of all of Los Angeles's single family homes built an ADU and it's an accessory dwelling unit, it's a second unit on your property, like a duplex, it would completely meet the housing shortage we have. So only 10%, 1 out of 10 single family homes. It's all we need. We don't need the other 90%, and we would meet our housing need. So, Rachel, one thing you learned?
Hi. Yeah, I learned the last slide about the mortgage. I'm curious about that. You know, what the mortgage requires for income and what that, you know, requirement is. So that was new information for me.
Fantastic. Yeah. Sam can definitely follow up with more info there. Desiree, one thing you learned.
Hi, I learned about the existence of jumbo loans and have some questions about that for later.
Okay. We'll talk about that in the Q&A. Nicole, I think you've joined us later. One thing.
Hi, Shannon.
Hi.
Yeah, no, I think what you're doing is amazing. I wanted to come see the presentation, and I think it's super informative how you compared like the duplex scenario versus the triplex, and then definitely having the information regarding the financing. That's great.
Fantastic. Yeah. Esther.
Oh, I got kicked off for a little bit, but when I was here, I learned that there seems to be some nice loan programs going on where you don't necessarily have to have like 25 or 20% down for an investment property.
If you own or occupy though, so the 5% down is you have to own or occupy it.
Yeah, that was kind of my question. I saw one slide with a 3.5% and the 15% down. And so those are both for owner occupancy.
Yeah. If it's investment property on 3 and 4 units, you have to put 25% down. If it's a duplex, just 15, but the rates are very high. You have to pay extra in closing costs and points.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. I think Tina is our last person, but if not, I must skip somebody.
Thank you. I learned about the, I learned about the Big Bear property, and Shannon, I know if you do want to purchase that, then we need to continue the conversation so that I can get you with the sober living program management, and they do purchase by bed, and then also usually they get into cities because residents of those cities are able to get sober living so that they're not breaking up their homes. So it does count as a residential program. Also, and that's through the state of California and the public health department. So I'd like to continue the conversation. Also, I want to let you know that I know that you work with individual investors, but I work for Leto Advisors, which is a real estate investment firm, and they work with investor groups. So individuals who want to incorporate and purchase homes, commercial or residential properties.
All right. Well, I'll put a pin in that, Tina, just so you can keep it kind of like open to everybody here, but we can certainly chat some more. You know how to reach me. And
you know how to reach me.
Here's my cell number. I don't know if I have I don't think I have a phone number.
It's 310-421-5844.
Maybe put it in the chat, or you can text me right now. Okay, everyone. So thanks for attending. Next month we have November 18th as our next one, and we are going to be going over the market, right, Sam?
Yeah, like a market update of what's where we've been, over the last year. Crazy appreciation across the country.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that for sure. And then, sorry, my dog is now acting up. The jumbo programs, yes, there are jumbo programs at Movement Mortgage. Not all of the big banks have them. They usually require 20% down on a jumbo loan. That's sort of the standard, but at Movement, we do have those lower based down payments, so long as Shannon mentioned, so long as it's owner occupied.
Right.
Any other questions related to financing that I can help answer right now for you guys?
Mine is not specific to financing, just Shannon, to invite people that live on the West Coast. What do I do? How do I invite potential investors to this class, even if I'm not attending?
Yeah, you will see the link that you use is the link I've used. It's the same link. It's because it's a consistent workshop. So
just
then
share that.
Yeah, you can just give them that link, and yeah, and happy to have other folks join. I can also, it does go out in my email list, so and I'll remember to try to add you to that, Shirley.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you both.
You guys have any other questions about the triplex or the duplex or investing in real estate?
Desiree had to hop off, so we'll answer her questions another time of how to qualify for jumbo.
Yeah.
And using potential rent. So we'll get back with her on that.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions? This is a good time to ask.
I have a question.
Good time to buy. Or a good time to sell if you guys are in the buy.
Shannon, I have a question. This is Esther.
Oh, hey, Esther.
Hi. Do you do any out-of-state investing? And also in terms of like applying for a loan, does that affect it if you're going out of state?
You're considered an investor regardless of where you go out of state, because it's fairly sure the lender's fairly sure you're not going to live in it. I personally, I have investments in Colorado. I don't have investments anywhere else. So this is my decision / philosophy right now is I make an LA salary as an LA real estate agent. So I want to buy LA real estate. I know my money will go very far in Florida. I know my money will go very far in Kansas. and I can buy more, but I want to be able to buy in my market. So because I'm at this, when I start to kind of shave back and start to like make less and work less, I will buy in other markets, because then I'm not making as much money. I'm not making on par, which will allow me to buy what I want to buy here. That's purely personal though, Esther, because a lot of people will make a very good salary and say, this is ridiculous, I'm just going to buy in another market immediately, skip this market. So it's a personal decision. If, however, I know a lot of people that are not making quite enough to start investing here, but they know they can buy a duplex in Ohio, so they start there. So just I think it's where you are, and then figuring out what you want out of that investment opportunity, and then how many investments you plan to make. Because you know, some people may only want to make one investment, see how it feels, and then decide if they want to do another one.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Work from anywhere. The underwriters have become really lenient, right? So I don't know where you work, Esther, but if it makes sense that you could work from anywhere and you're going to go buy in another state, that's fine. So long as your employer will say that it's okay. But if you own like a hair salon, you can't, that makes it more difficult to get pre-approved, because then you're going to have to create your whole list of clientele again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tina.
You know, I do want to respect you and Samantha, Shannon. And I know that you work in so many different areas. And like you said, you have relations with the mayor's office. And so when we do have groups that come together, or individuals, do you consult in real estate, or is it just as a real estate agent helping to purchase a property?
I mean, I don't really consider myself really much of a consultant, but I do consult with all of my clients that invest in real estate. I do more one-on-one consulting with each of them, because I am looking to become their real estate agent. And then a lot of times, we access other things, like they need property management. I have property management. I have, I want to add an ADU. So can you connect me with some contractors? So it sort of spans the gamut, but it is very much more on an individual level. I am interested in syndications, but I'm very specific on the syndications I'm looking at. I'm particularly looking at campground syndications with people that I personally know. So the syndication to me is not something, I'm pretty hands-on with all of my real estate, so I don't look at like being a consultant inside of a group. So it's just a personal thing. Like it's just how I want to spend my time. But yeah, a lot of people are syndicating now. There's so much money around. So I want to be very strategic with how I decide to I want to put my money with syndications that I know the people.
Right. Well, a part of what I do is talent acquisition. So I have to find out who's at the table and how to support you to the utmost. So thank you.
Yeah, you're totally welcome, Tina. All right. Any other questions?
Thank you for supporting local in Los Angeles.
Oh, for sure. I'm a resident here. I love it here. And I'm glad you read the book, Monica. I'm a big fan. Retiring early with real estate. It's my plan. It's my total blueprint right there.
Seriously, that was a good one. I'm just, it's all marked up and noted everywhere, and it's going to be one of those ones that I use for different ideas for sure.
And it's like a simple equation, he breaks it down so in such easy way to understand.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, you guys. So if there are no other questions, would love, yeah. Well, yeah, we'll see. Sam, do you want to close this out?
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for coming. We'll see you on the 18th at 12 o'clock. And if you guys don't have any other questions, I will let you have another 7 minutes back to your day. And it was a pleasure getting to know all of you a little bit better.
Yeah, take care, everybody.
care.